you want to say hi? Yeah. Hey y'all, David here. Today I decided that it'd be a good day to jump into my 80-gallon hydroaquatics aquascape. I set this up in February 14th on Valentine's Day. My wife helped me plant this. Started hardscaping and got the tank, I think just in the new year of 2021, so it's been set up for about 7 months now. So let's talk about the behind the scenes and what makes this tank tick first. We'll start with the tank itself. It's a hydroaquatics Tranquility. It's about 79 US gallons. It measures 120 centimeters across, 50 centimeters front to back, and 50 centimeters the height of it. It's an ultra low iron glass with 45 centimeter mitered edges, roomless aquarium, the only way to do it in my opinion. It was a lot of fun getting this home and in the house. My wife and I had someone help me load it into my Jeep and drove it home. But when it was ready to go into the house, we loaded it back into the Jeep. I drove the Jeep all the way to the back of our house, and then we slid it onto some blankets on the floor, and then slid it all the way into this and just did one final lift onto the stand. So yes, the stand. The stand is built from 3/4 inch plywood. It's hardwood plywood. It's got a middle support in the middle here, 2 opening doors drilled on the back. There's some big, like 3-inch holes in the back on both sides, and then on the sides for my electrical equipment and for filter hoses and pipes. It cost me about maybe a little over $100. And I built this way before wood prices went sky high. Just for the cost of the screws, the wood, and the glue. I already had, tools, drill, circular saw, all that. So it was definitely a lot of fun. It was the second stand I built like this. I actually built the stand for my BioOrb Air that's over here first. Some people are scared of building stands out of plywood. As long as it's a proper box and it's a proper cube and it's got, all of its sides remain square, it'll stand up to anything. It's all drilled with pocket screws, so it's very minimalistic. No, screw marks on the outside. They're all on the inside. It was all pre-glued and then screwed together with the pocket joints, and then it's all been treated with just a clear coat water sealant. A couple layers of that. This is a Twin Star SP 1200 or 1200 SP. It's a bit more less blue, maybe a little bit more red than the previous one, but I like it. It's well balanced, good reds, good greens. It's being hung from my ceiling using a mounting kit I got off Amazon. This thing is the absolute best. It's like one-touch adjustability. You just press a little button on the top. I can raise the lights to do water changes and then lower them to where it, sits comfortably so the light's not really in your eyes. And from the camera angle, you can see it's on the perfect level there. All right, let's talk about what's under the tank. Open this back up. I'm running a GLA regulator on a 10-pound cylinder. This GLA regulator has 3 manifolds. It actually runs all 3 of my tanks right now. This thing's bulletproof. It's been the absolute best since I got it. I had my 2 Owasa canister filters. That's all I use is Owasa Filtration for the time being. This one I have a Biomaster 600 thermo, but I don't use the heater on it. Maybe if it gets colder in the house during the winter. And then my smaller 45 centimeter tank runs this 450 thermo, which is way overpowered for it, but it's been perfect. Both of them have inline CO2 diffusers, which is the only way I would go. It just keeps everything so much cleaner and easier to maintain. Also, some other things that I have down here, I have a Tekken Smart Power Strip. This is really awesome because it runs everything. All my lights are on one switch, all my pumps are on another switch, CO2 on another switch. This is really awesome because I can just have my home assistant turn these on and off based on whether it's feeding time. If I have one for feeding and it will shut off for 10 minutes, I have one for maintenance and it will shut everything off except for the lights. They're all scheduled, they're all backed up, so if anything fails on them, it will continue the routine. There's like redundant routines in there. Really love that. Another cool thing I have in here is an Echo OC wave controller. I have this on like the lowest setting and it kind of ramps up and ramps down very slowly, but it's located on that side over there behind the driftwood, and it adds a little bit more circular flow to this tank because I do have my input and outputs from the OASA filters on this side, and it kind of blows across the front and then goes behind the driftwood, and that helps circulate back. All right, so let's get into hardscape and planting. So I got this hardscape early 2021. I got about 300 pounds of cereal stone and about 40 smaller pieces of driftwood and about 10 giant pieces of driftwood, all from 7 Ports, so thank you 7 Ports for sending that. I used a lot of it. I used about 100 pounds of cereal stone in here. You can't really see because a lot of it's playing like support roles and stacking up, but you can kind of see the 3-section island theme I was trying to go for here. This is all just driftwood, pretty typical. It goes by different trade names in the hobby. There's probably around 50 pieces in here, predominantly like this giant piece here weighs about 40 pounds, and then some smaller pieces and some medium pieces. So I started hardscaping early in 2021. Kind of took about a month or 2 to get something that I liked. Valentine's Day, I got my shipment of plants from Tropical Aquarium Plants in Canada. Thank you so much for sending that. They sent that and soil and fertilizer. So we planted on Valentine's Day. She helped plant, prep all my pots and all my tissue culture cups. Planted that day, and it took, a good 4 hours to plant this because I think it was like 40 pots and 30 tissue culture cups. So around 70 pots total for this. It definitely did not look anywhere as lush as it does now. I do want to mention that I used 3.5 9-liter bags in this scape. So the plants I used from Tropica are predominantly stem plants with some epiphytic plants. We have Alternanthera rhinic, Eliocaris, Mini, Lanthium tenellum green in the front here, Bucephalandra and Anubis. We have Rotala renifolia and Rotala atra. We have Microsorum nero and Microsorum trident in here. We have some Rotala bonsai in here towards the front and the foreground. We have some Monte Carlo in here. Marcelius in the front here, a favorite plant of mine. And then we have another Cryptocrine. We have Crypt parva in this tank. We have some Physidens moss that I moved from another tank. And then my friend Vinny sent me some plants. He sent me some Taiwan lily, which I have in a couple places in this tank. And then he sent me some Ricardia, which I have on some of the driftwood in the front. I think that does it for the plants. So in this tank, I'm primarily dosing Aqualife Phyto 1. 5 pumps every other day, so 3 times a week I do 30 milliliters, 32 milliliter pumps. After a water change, I'll do 5 pumps of Tropical Premium. Nutrition, this is just the micros, no macros in here. Let's talk about livestock. In this tank, I started with, I think, 20 Colombian redfin tetras. Also in this tank, I have a gold gourami. So the Colombian tetras, they actually bred multiple times. There's actually 3 generations of Colombian tetras in here, up to like 30, and there's probably like another 10 smaller ones in here, and then I moved another 10 smaller ones to my 60p. I have some black mollies in here, which are great with picking at algae. They love it, especially when the algae dies, they'll pick it off. And if you feed leaner, they'll definitely do that a lot more. 5 Amano shrimp in here, a handful of cherry shrimp, and some zebra and nearite snails. that's about it. Let me know if there's anything I missed or anything else you want to see from this tank. It's been fantastic so far. Huge shout out to Oasa, to Seven Ports, to GLA, and to Tropica for helping me out with this project. I couldn't have done it without any of y'all. Hey, Future David here. I totally forgot to record an outro for today's video. So with that, thank you for watching my deep dive into my 80-gallon Aquascape tank, and I'll see you next time.